Today we're going to attempt the impossible in What's Your Favorite Guitar, Part 3. Well, hey there folks, it's Jimmy Stewart here, hoping this is finding you all doing well. In today's video, we're going to attempt the impossible, as I said, with Part 3 of Jimmy, what's your favorite guitar? And of course, what's your favorite guitar? And as I was explaining in Part 1, in Part 2, if you haven't seen those, please check them out here on the channel. We're talking about the budget line of guitars that I've been showing here on the channel for the last couple of years. And we're going to get into other guitars as well. Some of the classics, some of the vintage. But right now we're talking budgets. And I decided to break it down into different manufacturers because it made it a little bit easier for me. So in Part 1, we started with Indian Vina guitars. And we kind of broke that down into 3 that I would have to take with me if there was a fire in the studio. And then we went into the next branch of guitars, and those were the Grote, or the Grout, or the Grote, or the Bobs, as I call them. And we broke that down because I only had 3 of those, and I broke that down to 1. Now we're going to get into the next stage, and it's the Squire stage of guitars, folks, the Fender Squires. And I'm not talking about any Fender Squires. I skipped the Bullet line. I skipped the Affinity line. I prefer the Paranormals, the Classic Vibes, that higher end line of the Squire budget side of the house. And they're very, very cool guitars. And this is going to be probably the most difficult of the parts that I'm doing on What's Your Favorite Guitar, because honestly, I think it's impossible to pick one of these particular 5 that I have. But we'll give it a shot, I guess. But anyway, today we're going to take a look at the guitars and see if we can narrow it down a little bit. And again, we'll start off with the very first one that I picked up a couple of years ago now, maybe. And that's the Jazzmaster, Classic Vibe Jazzmaster 60s Jazz right here. One of the very, very cool guitars, and something I had to have in the stable. Now, I have since got a couple of different versions of the Jazzmaster, less expensive budget styles, but not a true Jazzmaster. For instance, in the Firefly situation, I bought a Jazzmaster style guitar, and also in the mono price, I bought the OS 40s and things like that, kind of like a Jazzmaster style. But this is as close to a Fender Jazz as you're going to get in the budget market, because it does have the rhythm circuit and the Jazzmaster pickups. So this is the Classic Vibe 60s Jazzmaster. If you search around, you might be able to find some better pricing, but right now Fender's got sales going on all the guitars, and I will show you right from the Fender.com website the current pricing. And today here is the Jazzmaster as it sits. But so let's have a closer look at this, and then we'll have a quick listen to it. Let's do it. This is the Classic Vibe 60s Jazzmaster with a C-shaped neck profile with an easy playing 9.5 radius fingerboard. You can get all those Jazzmaster tones courtesy of the dual Fender designed El Nico single coils down there. This was a 60s inspired, of course, with the headstock markings, 60s, and the nickel-plated hardware, the vintage tint gloss neck finish for the old school vibe. It is a C-shaped neck, narrow, tall frets. Some of the specs, it's a poplar body, glass polyurethane on the finish, maple neck, the C-shaped neck shape. It is a 25.5 scale length with an Indian Laurel fretboard. It's 9.5 radius, 21 frets. The frets are narrow and tall. It's got a nut that is bone, and it's 42 millimeters at the nut with white dot inlays. Of course, your head adjusting truss rod. The pickups have the lead circuit controls, the slide switch down, and the master volume and master tone. Rhythm tone circuits with the switch slid up, and 2 thumb wheel controls for the net pickup. So when the net pickup is down, it's the rhythm circuit, neck only, and neck and bridge is the lead circuit. Specially designed rhythm and lead circuit controls. 6-saddle vintage style non-locking floating tremolo. It's nickel hardware, vintage style tuning keys, and 4-ply tortoiseshell pickguard. The 60s Classic Vibe Jazzmaster. The classic vibe Jazzmaster. Nice. Okay, so after the Jazzmaster, I had to have a Jaguar, and I went with the Contemporary Jaguar. This is the Squire Contemporary, and this is a really, really cool guitar, folks. This is the next Squire that I ended up purchasing. And as you can see, this is in the sky blue, I guess they call it. And this has got a set of the SQR atomic humbuckers in it, and this is a hardtail. I didn't go with a whammy on this one. It's got the roasted maple neck, the painted headstock, just a cool guitar. So let's take a closer look at this one. And again, I'll show you the current pricing from Fender up here on the screen. And then we'll take a close look and have a little listen to it. Let's do it. This is the Squire Contemporary Jaguar HH ST with the Squire SQR atomic humbucking pickups with coil splitting and series parallel switching on the upper control plate. Very, very cool. Roasted maple neck, 22 fret. This is a short scale, 24 scale guitar with a painted headstock and a sculpted neck heel. It is a poplar body, glass polyurethane, C-shaped neck, Indian laurel on the fretboard. It has got jumbo frets on this particular guitar, and it's 22 fret with a graphite nut, 42 millimeter at the nut, and your pearloid dot inlays going up. Just a really cool guitar. 6-saddle adjustable bridge. Again, this is a HH humbucker, atomic humbuckers with coil splitting and series parallel. It's got a 3-ply black pickguard, the cool painted headstock, and of course your sculpted heel with the vintage tuners. Just a really nice guitar from Fender Squire, the Contemporary Jaguar. The Contemporary Jaguar. Nice! Okay, so after the Contemporary Jaguar, I had to pick up one of these. And these were very, very tough to get a hold of for a couple of years. And again, I will show you the current Fender pricing on this with the sale that's going on. Again, remember, if you look around, there's a couple of different sites that was having some great sales on Squire, Custom Vibes, Paranormals. Check out Pro Audio Star. They're a company out of Brooklyn. Again, they kind of sell guitars in the, they claim used market, again, to get away from the Fender pricing, I guess. Basically, they're open box. But check them out. You might be able to get yourself a good deal, or look around on eBay or what have you. But Fender does have a sale, and again, I'm going to go strictly with the Fender pricing for right now. This is the Cabronita, the Paranormal Cabronita Tele Baritone, because I had to have a baritone, folks, and this is the only one I have in the stable. And this is a very, very cool guitar. Let's take an up-close look at it, and we'll do some sound checks with it as well. Okay, so this is the lowrider from Fender Squire, the Paranormal Baritone Cabronita Telecaster with a pair of very cool Fender-designed Alnico single-coil soap bar pickups with a C-shaped neck, Indian laurel. They are tall frets with a synthetic bone nut on this one, a very cool Telecaster-type headstock. 27 scale baritone, again, normally tuned B to B. It has got a 6-saddle string-through body bridge. Vintage-style tuners up on the top. poplar body, maple neck, C-shaped, 27 scale, 9.5 radius on the fingerboard, 22 frets, and 42 millimeter at the nut width. Another really cool, nice guitar from the folks at Fender Squire. The Fender Squire Baritone Cabronita from the Paranormal series at Fender Squire. This one in surf green, the Cabronita Baritone. The Cabronita Paranormal Tele Baritone. Nice. Okay, so the next one that I picked up in the Squire line is the Paranormal Cyclone. And this is a mismatch of all kinds of different models from Fender Squire. Jaguar type switching down here, and the sort of a Stratocaster type of layout with the 3 pickups in the vibrato bar. This was a really cool guitar that I was able to pick up on sale. And again, let's take a closer look at this. We'll go over some specs, and then we'll do some sound checks as well. Now, the Squire Paranormal Cyclone is a bit of a mishmash of different Fender models, kind of borrowing the body from a Mustang, with pickups and a vintage-style tremolo from a Stratocaster, and controls really from a Jaguar. It's a 24/7/5 scale with a slim C-shaped style neck. It's an offset body, obviously, of course. Vintage-style tremolo and bridge. It has got the Strat-designed Alnico pickups with a vintage-style synchronized tremolo bridge. It's got the on and off pickup switches for each one of the pickups. And you can see the different specs on this. It's a poplar body, gloss polyurethane, maple neck, C-shaped. It is a Indian Laurel fretboard with a 9.5 fingerboard radius, the vintage-style tuners, open slot, 22 fret, narrow tall fret sizes, a synthetic bone nut, and 42 millimeter at the nut. The Cyclone from Fender Squire Paranormal series. Paranormal Cyclone. Okay, let's move on. Okay, so after the Paranormal Cyclone, and last but not least, I finally was able to pick up the Classic Vibe Mustang in the vintage white. And this was, again, another guitar that was very hard to find, and trying to find a good price on it. I got a great sale price on this. Again, it was used, open box, like new. Now, as you know, if you've been watching this channel long enough, you know I am a nut for offsets. I love short scale guitars. I just love the sound of a single coil. I think they're just great. So as you can see in my Squire collection, I didn't go with Teles and or Stratocasters and or that kind of thing. I sort of kept to the offsets, obviously with the exception of the Paranormal Tele Baritone over there, but that's weird enough as it is. But the offsets I really like. I like the body style. I love the 24 scale as the Jaguar is and as this is. And the others are off scales as well, with the exception of the Jazzmaster, which is your standard 25.5. But again, I gave you all the specs already. This was the last in the line. Let's take a closer look at it. And again, has some sound checks. And last but not least, the Classic Vibe 60s Mustang, this one in vintage white. Again, just a very, very cool guitar. It is a 24 scale, short scale with a 9.5 radius fingerboard, narrow, tall frets. It's got the Fender designed El Nico pickups. It has got the Fender designed vintage style tremolo with the floating bridge, your vintage style tuning keys up top. And of course, nickel-plated hardware. It's a slim C-shaped neck profile. Vintage neck gloss tint on there. It's a poplar body, glass polyurethane, maple neck, C-shaped, 24 scale, Indian laurel on the fretboard, 9.5 radius, 22 frets, narrow tall, a bone nut at the top, and it's 42 millimeters at the top with white dot position inlays. It's just a very cool guitar. Master volume, master tone. Of course, this is a Mustang style, so it's got its on-off slider and in and out of phase switching for each pickup on those vintage style, Fender style Mustang pickups. The 60s Classic Mustang from Fender Squire. The Squire Classic Vibe Mustang. Very cool. So, okay, you've seen all 5 of the Fender Squires, the Classic Vibes, Paranormals, Baritones. These guitars, again, are all in what I consider the higher market of a budget guitar. You know, in that $400 range, and a little bit higher, sometimes a little bit lower, depending on the sale prices. And again, I showed you all the Fender pricing as of today, this morning, when I went on Fender.com. So some pretty good pricing. Again, if you search around, you might be able to find something better. But you can't beat going right directly to Fender and getting the warranty and all that kind of good stuff. But if you can find something picked up as used, like new, open box, that type of thing, save yourself a few bucks for this coming holidays. It's a good opportunity to go out and check around. Okay, so the question you were all wanting to know, Jimmy, if you could only grab one or two of these, what would it be? And that's an impossible question, folks. I like every single one of them. But here's the thing, depending on what your collection is like, it might differ from mine. You might have a bunch of Jazzmasters, so this particular Jazzmaster wouldn't be one that you'd grab. I only have a few, and this is my favorite, so I would have to grab the Jazzmaster, I think. Pretty sure. I would also have to grab the Jaguar. Again, it's unique, it sounds great, I love it, I love playing it. I would have to grab my baritone, because I only have one baritone in my collection, and that's it, and it plays lovely, and I love it. So I don't know. What are you going to do? I would have to grab my Mustang, too. It's not working out, is it? All right, I'm going to have to grab all five. Okay? I like the Cyclone as well. It plays wonderfully. It's more of a... if you already have a Mustang and you already have a Jaguar and you already have a Strat, maybe you don't need Cyclone, because it's kind of a mishmash of all those. But, I mean, I have all those and I still want the Cyclone, so I don't know. There's your answer. I guess I'd have to grab all five. I would bring in another set of hands to make sure that all the Squires that I currently have were removed. In the event that I had to have just one, I have to have all five. I know that's not the answer you want, but it's the only answer I can come up with. Sorry, folks. I wasn't trying to cheat you. This is nearly impossible for me to say I like one over the other. I really don't. I mean, I have had the Jazzmaster longer than the others, so maybe I'm more attached. The Mustang is the newest. I just got that a couple of months ago. So I've been playing that a lot because, again, it's a new guitar. So, you tend to gravitate to it to get some play out of it. But I love all five of them. If I had to nail it down to two, I guess I would go with the Squire, Mustang, and the Jazzmaster because they're different enough. The other ones, although the baritone is really, this is the only one that I have that's got the atomic humbuckers in it, and it sounds great. Roasted maple neck, painted headstock. I love the 3 pickup setup on the side. Okay, that's it. I'm not going to do any more of it, folks. Those are the 5 Squires, and if you're in the market for one of those, check out Fender.com. They have the Squires on there. Or again, search around some of the other websites that you might find. Pro Audio Star is one of them. Again, they're a company out of Brooklyn. I've never bought anything from them, but a lot of people have, and they're saying they're getting, like new, brand new guitars, open box for very, very good pricing. So check them out if you get a chance. Okay, so I'm going to wrap it up for today, folks. That was part 3 of What's Your Favorite Guitar? Let me know down in your comments, out of these 5, what you think you would end up keeping. Or maybe perhaps you have them, and let me know your story of why you're going to keep yours, okay? Folks, till next time, it's Jimmy Stewart saying so long. Please take care of yourselves. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Thank you to all the subscribers that have come over to the channel. If you're still on the fence, however, that's right. That's right. Come on over to the good side. We'd love to have you on board, folks. Bye-bye for now. We'll talk to you all very, very soon.